We're all straight.
Is it showing?
Yeah, we said.
Okay. I think we're good.
Oh, welcome. Good morning. Good morning to Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. Here we are at the newly renovated David Whitney Hotel in downtown Detroit, division of Marriott. Beautiful place. We're going to be here a couple weeks. Something different from McShane's at court time. And I like this ambiance. It looks great. Vanessa Moss.
Good morning,
How you
everyone.
doing?
I'm fine. Good
Good.
morning.
You look lovely today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Judge Carl Marlinga.
Good
Yeah.
morning. Nice to be here. Great setting. I love McShane's too, but this isn't bad for a
There's,
change.
there's no
Yeah.
question about
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
We here, and you know we got some good Alan Lango from Deadline Detroit. Took a little vacation today, so we'll be back next week. Carl, you got some good news from a poll in Deadline Detroit from Target Insight. Tell us.
Okay, I was feeling good about the campaign, but I didn't have any hard numbers. All right. And then the Target Insight, hired by Deadline Detroit Commission to do a poll, they came in with the November election polling. Right now, I'm at 49%, and the Republican incumbent John James is at 43%.
Wow.
That's a 6-point margin. Now, 6 points is a lot in politics. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't be made up.
Right.
And certainly John James and the Republicans are going to pour in a ton of money. But it's hard to overcome 6 points, especially in this cycle, in this election, because John James's negatives are well, he's got 52% negative, 29% positive, meaning he's underwater in terms of his likability.
Mhm.
And so he not only has to deal with the issues, deal with me, he has to deal with himself, that there's just a basic mistrust of him in the
Is he
district.
campaigning?
Well, I haven't,
I call it the
I haven't seen-
rope-a-dope. I call it the rope-a-dope.
No, I was just going to ask you, as a candidate, that visibility is very important. And as a constituent, because you're a constituent, you're someone that he answers to. Have you seen him in the community?
I haven't, but even more importantly, people that I know in city government, they say he will show up to a function, he'll come in with his entourage, stay about 10 minutes, talk to just a few people, and then kind of quietly slink off. He just doesn't stay around to engage. I don't think he really has a politician's feel. I mean, politics is a mixture of policy and intellect and issues, but it's also kind of the feel that you like to be around people.
Right.
You like to talk, you like to find out what's really bothering them or what are they hoping for. And he just never seems to stay around long enough to engage in a real in-depth conversation.
Well, you know what? I was offended by the convention in Milwaukee. You know what? You can be whatever you want to be. You can be a Republican. You can be an independent, a Democrat,
Well, don't sound
etc.
like, don't sound
But-
like you're okay with it. You're
No,
offended by their
I'm-
convention.
You know what? I'm okay, not okay about
What?
that you allow yourself to get up and make a fool of your family, of you, because you said, John James and all the other African American Republicans that they had talking, that ain't the shit that they were saying didn't make any sense when you attacking
to
your
you.
own community. Listen,
But it is.
listen,
Listen.
Ed Brooks was a Republican senator in the 60s and 70s. He was the Attorney General of Massachusetts at a time at the height of Jim Crow and segregation. He never demeaned his family. He was proud to be one, an African American. He was proud to be a Republican. He was proud to be part of an organization that, you know what,
So,
basically helped free our folks from bondage.
but what you're saying is this, is that you're implying, or no, you're saying that he and the other African Americans that are part of the RNC are not proud of who they are, and that they're embarrassing their community. But I will submit that they don't feel like they're part of that community.
But they are.
They feel like they are very proud of who and what they are.
But they are.
Have
But
their
they
group of
use
people
they
who hold
use
them
affirm
up.
they use
They have their
they
people who
use
hold them
affirmative
up,
action
right?
programs. They use affirmative action programs. They benefited from all the struggles that Black folks and white folks during the civil rights marched and died for, and yet they come out and now they saying, "Oh, we don't need this, and we don't need that." You know, you got the lieutenant governor of North Carolina who's running for governor, African American, who says that people need to be shot in the street, etc. You know, stuff like that. You know what? That Martin Luther King was a pimp.
Right.
And all, so I don't need the
Listen,
Wait,
I think they probably. I think that some of the things that they put out there that they really believe, and they live in those communities in which they feel represents them. But it's also a whole lot of it is politicking. Listen, I'm going to say the most outrageous things because the leader of the Republican Party says some of the most outrageous things, and it seems to resonate with a lot of people. And so if you're running for office, which your opponent is running for office, he's going to follow the playbook that they've given him, which is to turn your back on who and what you are. But maybe he's not. Maybe that is who he is.
But
That's what I'm saying. And listen,
he graduated from West Point.
Yeah.
He was a pilot during the Iraqi War, etc. Listen, the guy served, but yet he allowed some of his colleagues to say, "Oh, West Point, the only reason that they have Black and women and at the academy is because DEI. They're not qualified to be officers. They're not qualified to be leaders."
How can you say that he allowed?
Yeah, he don't say anything. He don't say anything. He do not respond. I was in the military, and if I had people saying that the only reason you got to your rank is because some affirmative action program and all these people that have died on the battlefield and went through all this shit.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to say, first of all, I mean, I understand what you're saying because when I was the prosecutor, of course, I hired the first Black assistant prosecutors in the history of the county. But these were quality candidates who could get a job at GM, at a downtown major law firm. Many of them stayed with the office for a few years, went on to be judges. And so I know how it would hurt them to be thought that, well, they only got the job because Marlinga was looking to hire Blacks. No, I hired quality people who could get a job anywhere. And so I know that it hurts to have that thought that, well, you only succeeded because of affirmative action. That's bunk. But secondly, back to my opponent, I don't want to beat him up on a lot of things, but there's this essential insincerity or hypocrisy that he has. He's been quoted. It's true that he once said that Donald Trump is unfit to hold office, but yet he embraces Trump, says, I endorse him 2,000%. I think that's the fatal flaw in his campaign, in his career. He's in a party that he really doesn't feel comfortable with because he wanted to take advantage of what they were offering him. But I think he's always conflicted. And
he said that that his father started a trucking company and that he faced all this racism, etc., and he overcame it. Yeah, he overcame it with the help of people like Coleman Young, and who gave him contracts and stuff, who was kicking down the barriers of segregation and racism here in the city when it came to contracts. So he don't get up there and tell a bullshit story to folks because they Republicans, they love me. They don't they could care less. They even turned on their own vice presidential candidate because he happened to be married to a woman whose parents come from India, and all of a sudden they don't like that. So no, that's basically why if I lived in the 10th district, and I tell people that I know that live in Carl district, ain't no way in the world you should be voting for John James.
So let me ask you this, Carl,
Yeah.
because you're you're a Democrat, and as you know, there's a whole lot of conversation about age. And there's a significant age gap between you and John James. What do you say about that? Especially since they're saying that the current president is too old to be running for office. What have you faced that same?
I think any public servant has the obligation when he or she knows that they passed a certain threshold, that they're no longer as sharp, as active, that they can't stay up the long hours. If you know that, you should think withdrawing. I haven't got there yet. I know when I was a probate court judge, I appointed an 84-year-old man to be the guardian for a 66-year-old sibling, because we age at different rates.
Right.
So regardless of age, because age is just a number, but medical condition, mental acuity, that's real. And so I think anybody on the political scene, when they know that that they've, and you feel it, you can see it when Nancy Pelosi stepped down from being speaker. It was time, but I'm not there yet. And so I'm going to keep on going until I sense that that there's a half step that I'm missing, or that I tire after only hitting 40, 50 houses when I'm knocking doors. But right now, my wife and I still have a physical trainer. We do yoga. We run. So I'm feeling good.
What are the party leadership saying about this results of this poll? Have you gotten a boost from?
Oh yeah. No, they are frankly surprised because this is against the Republican incumbent. But look, it makes sense because this is a presidential year. I've always run in presidential years for prosecutor and judge. My numbers, for instance, in 2016, when Donald Trump got 224,000 votes, I got 249,000 on the ballot. When Hillary Clinton got 176, Trump got 224. I got 249. So a presidential cycle, when the ticket splitters and independents come out, is my cycle. Also, the Democratic Party did a study of the district, and they said that kind of a quintessential Democrat in this cycle should get about 52% in this district. And so my leading James by 49 to 43, is in line with all of the other data. In 2022, I was on the bench until I was a judge until February, got a late start. James had 5 million. The Republican Party put in 4 million. They had 9 million against the 1 million that I could raise. If I just come up competitive, if I get 3 or 4 million, which it now looks like I will be able to get, we can run a campaign that will answer his negative advertising, emphasize the positive things I've done, and take advantage of that. It's hard to overcome a 6-point lead. I'll tell you that. Now they're going to try, and it can't. I'm not. For God's sakes, I'm not overconfident in the least.
Right.
This is going to be a rough campaign, and it will close, and it will be close.
How do people get in touch with your campaign?
Marlinga for Congress, use the number 4, MARLINGA, the number 4, Congress.com. The Republicans bought out 20 or 30 other URLs that had all kinds of combinations because they but Marlinga for Congress.com is how you get a hold of me. Yeah.
One more question. Once you prevail in November, are you going to come back to Detroit black and white?
My God, yes. I mean,
don't.
No. Look, look, I've always said on the bench, I said to lawyers and anybody else, okay, we're going to have the trial start now. But remember, you're not only talking to me, you're talking to jurors. And jurors have the sixth sense they know when you're fibbing. So keep it real, and if whatever the answer is, say yes or say no. But I'm coming back because, first of all, I like this guy. I like you. I like the setting. I feel at home here. It's a wonderful place, and I do think that it's important to have Detroit and the suburbs like work together. And although I'll be the Congress person from Macomb County, a bit of Oakland, I think it's important that the region's problems and the region's aspirations be a part of what I take to Washington.
Well, you want to be like Joe Nolenberg, the late Joe Nolenberg, Republican, Oakland County. But if you call his office and say, I'm in Detroit, I could get a hold of my person, the guy.
Exactly. It's public
Right.
service, whether you're Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. And I'm glad that you used him as an example, because I grew up in Macomb County where Republicans and Democrats didn't have this deep divide that we have now. I want to get over this toxic era of American politics and just say, hey, we're all trying to do good things for good people. We have a difference as how to get there, but let's not insult one another and be because the guy on the other side of the aisle is trying just as hard as you are. It's just that he or she is just a different view of how you get there.
Well, I'm about to insult you. You're too old, and we don't want you as the Congressman.
Okay. Well, thank you, Carl Marlinga. We're gonna take a break.
You know, I'm just kidding with you.
I love it, Joe. Thank you so much.
This is
Thank
Alyssa
you.
Slotkin, Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. I want to share a story about who, more than anyone, taught me the importance of listening and accountability. It was President Barack Obama. I served in the White House on his national security staff. I got to see him in action, up close, and behind closed doors in the Oval Office. First, he was brilliant, and therefore demanded people really knew their stuff. It was President Obama who grilled me on issues and demanded accountability on what we said and did. That commitment to accountability is exactly the approach I use today, listening to our communities. It's why I've written an opportunity agenda with detailed plans to strengthen Black businesses, increase Black wealth, and provide real opportunities for our youth. Because, as President Obama taught me, you better say what you mean and mean what you say. So that's why I approve this message.
Vote early or on August 6th for Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Alyssa Slotkin.
Because I live in Detroit, I was able to get tuition-free college through the Detroit Promise. I feel very fortunate working with the Detroit Promise. They were able to afford me so many opportunities. I'm currently studying media production and journalism at University of Michigan, Dearborn. I'm looking to take my talents further into the production industry, short films. I love working with people here, and this is where I want to be. And that's why I'm Detroit for life.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Would be YouTube, that would be X, that would be Instagram, that would be
Telegram, Candygram, all
it's all
around.
the platforms, and you can also not only like, share, and subscribe. You can also come and participate in the show and be a part of the live audience. I also want to announce that today that 5901 Connor Street, Detroit, Michigan. It is a Real Men Vote 2024. It's a candidate forum. If you're wondering why I look so nice today, my jacket's on the other side, it's because I'll be participating in that in that forum. Karen Winston, thank you so much for watching. She will be there with me because she's a volunteer for my candidacy for 36
She's coming
District 4.
on next week.
She's coming on the show next week. And Karen, you can come via Zoom. You don't have to come in if you don't want to.
Yeah, and joining us is the man of the hour, the guy that got the pulse of the community. That listen, one of the hardest working men in political business, not show business, political business and community business. I'm Bruce Simpson. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I put our schedule up against anybody. We get it
Would
in.
you put it up against Joe Biden?
See, there you go. Now look, I thought you were for him.
But I'm just saying, he's a hard-working man. You a hard-working man.
10-4.
10-4.
I operate outside the hours 10-4. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's an Axios article that said that, right? This
You
is not
can't
me.
believe everything you
not
read.
me.
You
This
can't
is not-
believe everything you read. No, you don't. No, you
Well,
don't.
listen, no,
You believe
no,
whatever you've written,
No,
but
I
you
don't
don't believe
believe-
everything that you
I don't
that you
believe
read.
everything that's been written, but I do believe my lying eyes, as they say. And so what they tell me is
So
that
you working harder than the president of the United States, is
Well,
what you're saying.
Be like, babe.
not a typical president of the United States. I think his schedule's a little watered down.
Listen, one year, 1927, they asked Babe Ruth, said, "You make more money than the president," and he said, "I had a better year." So that way, that is that.
Listen, no, the office of the presidency is what it is, and we're all making light of really
A serious situation.
A serious-
But you know
that
what?
our
But I think we do need to make light because we are in such a dark period right now. We need to share some laughter and make fun. We know that this is very serious. We know that we're in a very dark period in terms of politics. So,
Yeah, but
I'm
no.
here to shake it up.
Yeah, but no, they always say there's some truth said in jest, right? So even though we're joking, there's some truthfulness to it, and the truth is,
We're working harder than the
well,
president.
no, the truth is what we said, and what I've been saying for a while, it has come true. You have Nancy Pelosi, you have Minority Leader of the House, you Hakeem Jeffries, you have Chuck Schumer, you have who else? Adam Schiff, one of the more notable figures in the Democratic Party, right? They are coming to the forefront.
Sherrod Brown from Ohio,
Yeah.
just come out.
Listen,
The guy from Montana. See, these folks, and I don't understand where they're coming from because they're in a red state.
Exactly.
And they're an anomaly because they're the only Democratic state official
Right.
elected. So they got to distance themselves from the president. Now, I always said that I would vote for Joe Biden if he was laying up there in a casket.
right?
But I'm a realistic person, knowing that once the donors stop,
Look, and realistically, if he in a casket, you're gonna vote for him if he's at
yeah,
the top
if he's
of the
on the
ticket.
back, if he's on the, but
Exactly.
he's not gonna be at the top of the
I
ticket.
don't know about that.
Because the donors are withholding the money. And Obama is silently giving approval to all these folks.
How do you know?
He's
Because-
put his surrogates out there. When you
Yes.
see George
Now,
Clooney
I don't
do,
believe
when you
it.
I
see
do.
George
I don't
Clooney,
believe it. I believe everything I see.
when
No,
you see George
I don't
Clooney
believe
And
it.
they don't
just a
care
few
what
I
weeks
he's
don't
doing.
ago
believe it.
gave
Yes,
a
you do.
fundraiser
Y'all care what I
for the
believe. I don't
president.
believe it at
You
all.
see him come out. I don't think that's George Clooney doing that on his own. I think he's a proxy for our former President Obama. But everyone sees what we see. It's not that. Look, the man's record is a decent record. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the condition of the man, who at this point doesn't appear to be able to even articulate that record, to even stand on it. So we got to have, at the very least, someone who can articulate.
But
what
the
Democrats
time
stand
is
for.
running out. Listen, if you're going to replace somebody, you can't wait to the end, a month before the election or the 3 days before the election. And you know, and I know, we done had elections where candidate died. They elected a guy to Congress he was dead. He had
Right.
been dead 2
I
weeks.
remember
They couldn't,
that, yeah.
they couldn't get him off the ballot.
Right.
They couldn't get his name off the ballot.
Right.
And you know what? So if you say, well, the president stepped aside. Now, if he's going to step aside, this is my scenario. This is what it would give them upper hand. If Joe Biden say, I'm resigning as president of the United States, they swear in the vice president, etc. I think that's a boost. That's something different. The chief got the office, but he's not going to do
I was
that.
going to say, I think he's right, but
At
he ain't
this
doing
point, they
It
did
ain't
it
gonna
in.
happen.
And listen, he's just going to take the whole Democratic Party with him, because these folks, when you have a mutiny on hand, and he has a mutiny in the party, it's a mutiny, and they determined to take him out. But before we go on, I want to say, and before I forget this, because of my senior moment.
Oh yeah, ages.
Yes, the verdict in the Samantha.
Well, you know, I'm a practicing attorney. You know, I'm running for a judgeship. I will say that the verdict didn't make sense to me. It did not make sense to me, and I don't know how you find a not guilty for first degree murder, but you find, I mean, that there's a hung jury. They're hung on felony murder. I do think that the defense attorney put on a hell of a fight. For him and his client, it's a win. It's going to be interesting to see if the prosecutor is going to bring this case back. I think that based upon what I saw, and I actually did have a conversation with the defense attorney, that they had a very, very weak case. A very weak case for the top charge. That's my opinion. And I know a lot of people are really mad. I read something yesterday.
Which case are you referring to?
With Samantha Wall.
Oh, okay.
Samantha Wall.
You know, the Jewish leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young girl.
She was killed in October, and they were already in trial. I do think that you know, the family, of course, is very upset. I read a opinion, and they were like, you know, no, he didn't. Listen, when someone dies like that, you want to blame somebody. And if the powers that be say that this is the person, you're going to believe it. You're not going to hear any of the other things that was brought out of it.
He said, I'm a thief. He said, I'm a thief. I was breaking in cars.
They didn't find any evidence that had been in the house.
He said he saw a dead body of a white woman, and he ran. And he didn't take anything, except.
No, he's a thief. He checked her pulse to see if she living. So maybe I could take. Let me stop. I'm playing. Let me stop it. Let me stop it because people be mad at me. But he checked her pulse. That's what he says. Obviously, they believed him, right? Yeah. I thought it was interesting that you have a boyfriend who said, yeah, I did it. He was smoking weed. He was on some medication. He had some issues, but you put him on, the prosecutor put him on the stand and took his word. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So if they decide to bring this case back, it's going to be interesting to see what route they take in terms of trying to get
they go on the OJ route. You know what I call the OJ route?
What?
They put OJ in jail for stealing his own stuff back, but they really put him in jail because for killing his wife and Ron Goldman. So they couldn't get him for that.
Well,
so, yeah,
it was a highly publicized case.
Yeah.
You know, when it transpired, and
they moved like
they need a conviction.
They move like light.
That's what it appears to be.
Right.
Even if all evidence doesn't.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and continue our conversation. Detroit in black and white. We have a fireside chat. Fireplace looks great from the newly renovated David Whitney Hotel, division of Marriott.
Yep.
Fellas, I'm new in town, and I've been here a couple of times. I absolutely love your place, man. But I've got to ask you, if you can, I've heard that you're going to be shutting this place down.
I'm not proud of it, brother, but we're behind our property taxes. The county is all over us, man. I'm even afraid to even give them a call.
Well, we can't let it go, brother. I mean, we can't give up. There got to be a GoFundMe campaign that we can run, even past the plate. Is there a forgiveness program or something that's out there?
Well, unfortunately, that's only for the big guys.
No, actually, Wayne County has payment plans for everyone.
Are you for real?
Yes, it's a well-designed program. We want to help you save your business.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. If you have delinquent taxes on your home or business, contact our office, 313-224-5990, or visit our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Got it.
Without Project Clean Slate, there is no telling where I would be right now.
It gave him back his life, because once he got the felony, it seemed like life was over.
Being unemployed, being depressed, being a burden. Project Clean Slate helped wipe those things away. I can't say thank you enough. I am now able to work for a reputable airline. Detroit had my back, all because I live in Detroit.
Oh, and we're back. Detroit in black and white. You see somebody else on the couch. I'll introduce her. This is Patricia Pearson. She has an organization, Family Tree, but she's here to talk about a specific program that she's founded, which is called the Lion's Den. But before we get to Patricia, we're going to go to the city of Detroit Ombudsman, Bruce Simpson, the cousin of O.J. Simpson. I'm just playing.
See, this is how you end up with hate mail dealing with you, Vanessa.
You get hate mail. Nobody should be sending you hate mail.
Well, if you tell them
you're
I'm
the
OJ,
hardest working man in the United States.
If you tell them I'm OJ's cousin, I'm gonna get some hate mail.
No,
they hate
I'm
that
just
man.
kidding. Everybody knows that I like to
Even
joke.
after he transitioned.
Oh, did you see how the BET awards acknowledged him, and then people are mad about
Yeah,
it?
I saw Stephen A. and others had something
he's
to
a
say
clown.
about it. The man is transitioned, but just very quickly, what's going on in the Ombudsman's office? We are working an initiative, and I kind of talked about it last week. We need to know where these abandoned and open to trespass properties are so that we can secure them. Again, we moved away from the plywood, and we're now using a heavy, dense plastic, almost like what you see in terms of the plexiglass, the bulletproof glass, which is very hard to penetrate. When we put that plywood up there, they kick it in and break it in, break into the property very easily. But we need the public's help. And we want you to call 313-224-4737 if you have an abandoned, open to trespass property in your community so that we can secure it. Over the last 10 years, we've torn down thousands of properties, but we have a beautiful housing stock here in the city of Detroit. I'll put that housing stock up against any other major city, and we can preserve some of these houses. Right now, we have an issue like most major cities with affordable housing. So we're moving in the direction where we want to preserve these homes and see what we can do to make these homes work for our citizens.
Maybe you can answer this question. Are the homes that the abandoned homes, are these properties part of the land bank properties or no?
No.
Okay.
In many cases, these are, so the land bank, they've caught a lot of flack over the years, and rightfully so. I've been one of those critics, but their inventory has shrunk.
Yes.
Due to all the demolition and working actively to sell off their property. So a lot of these properties are privately owned. But what happens is if you don't take care of that property, we will relieve you of it and repurpose it. Again, there is a need that can be met outside of new construction in terms of trying to identify low-income housing.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so that's the mission right now. We will be going door to door in every district very soon, which I'm excited about. It's what I call a one-way transaction. I'm appointed, not elected, so I'm not asking for a vote or anything like that. The only thing I'm asking for
If you were running, I would vote for you. I would vote for Bruce Simpson.
Thank you so very much. But the only thing we're
Nothing but
asking is for you to utilize the resource. So we're going to inform people about what the Ombudsman does if they don't already know.
Okay, great. All right, and what are you doing today? Are you going out to do today? Because last week when you were here, you were suited and booted. Today, you got your shirt on with your name, Your cargo shorts on. What's up?
Councilmember Johnson, District 4, had a developer summit last week.
Okay.
And I was going to attend that. And anytime I attend a function as such, we dress the part. It was part of the job. Today, I'm just representing. No events today. This is it for me. Hopefully, I don't get one of those calls where I got to come out.
Right.
But other than that, I'm just happy to be here with you guys.
Playing basketball with the kids?
No basketball. You see this scar right? Here?
Yeah.
I tore my Achilles a couple of years ago. I retired my jersey at that point.
Oh, wow. What number was it?
I will play with the kids. 12. I will play with the kids, but that's about it.
Okay.
Serious competitive days are over.
Okay. All right. Okay, Bruce. Now we're going to turn our attention to a guest. Usually we have people on here that we are familiar with. I'm very familiar with Miss Pearson. Pat, I call her Pat. We have been friends for, oh my God, like 20-something years?
Yes.
20-something years. And we actually met through someone who worked for the education system who put us together. So Pat has an organization that's called the Family Tree. But she and I was talking the other day, and let me also say I got to put a plug in. Vanessa Moss, candidate for 36th District Court. My name will not appear on the ballot, but you can write my name in. And Pat is going to volunteer. She doesn't. Well, I told her that she's going to volunteer to work on my campaign. But anyway, welcome, Pat. Tell us about Family Tree and particularly about the Lions Den.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to everyone. Family Tree is a nonprofit housing agency. We do housing. We also help those who are low income become homeowners by matching them with down payment assistance programs. We also do a youth program in the community to try to combat poverty. What we do is a financial education program, Vanessa, but the key to that financial education is we do character building and life skills with our youth. If we don't change the mentality, we cannot break the cycle of poverty in our urban communities. I'm in the 48205 zip code, working at Trick School on the east side of Detroit. Working there in that community, there are children that are in need. There are children that ask me, I didn't have the program. I always did, as you know, because you came and spoke before. The Diamond Girls, I always worked with girls. The young men asked me for a program saying that they wanted something for them. So that's how Lions Den came about. So I created Lions Den for them to learn financial skills, but to also bring men in from the community to kind of mentor them, like Mr. Simpson.
I volunteer, Mr. Simpson.
To kind of mentor them throughout the school
Mr.
year.
Mongo.
I don't have a problem with it. We do it already, so I'll be happy to.
Well, thank you, sir. Some of the things the gentlemen come in and teach them financial education, how to tie a tie. We bring in men to teach them how to engage with other men, to have what we call a rap session, where they can get out the questions that they want to ask. Someone can ask them. They may not know how to make it into college or into high school. How do I get into this high school? Beyond taking the test, what other things do I need to know? Or we have guys that have graduated my program. This year, I've been working with men to get into Lane College. How do I go to college? How do I prepare? My mother can't afford this. How do we get the things we need to take there? So that's the line.
I want you to share with our viewers what precipitated you doing the Lions Den, because you shared some stories with me. And of course, you can't share the names, but I think it would be beneficial for people to know exactly what you're facing in that school district.
I had a young man who was out, we call it hustling. And we asked him to stop hustling. And he came to me alone and said, Ms. Pearson, I wouldn't do this if I didn't have to feed my brothers and sisters. He had 4 younger siblings, and he said, all I need is a hot and ready. So he was hustling just to get the hot and ready for them to eat. And I asked, do you all receive benefits? And he said, yes, but my mom sells the car. you know. So therefore, we don't eat, and I have to make sure they eat. So I asked a mortgage officer to come in. Daryl Clements to come in, a mortgage officer. When he came in and he met with the boys, and they told him he donated $1,800 for the school year so they can eat before going home. So he would bring White Castles, McDonald's, Little Caesars Pizza, making sure throughout that year that before they left, that the kids had ate, and then they can be dismissed from the program after school.
Well, I think it's awesome that you created an environment where these young men feel that there's a safe space to be able to tell you, look, I'm out here committing crimes, basically, but I'm doing it as a need. There's a need for me to do this. We need to eat. It's important for us to eat. And he's not looking out for himself. He's looking out for his siblings because, you know, his mom is doing whatever she's doing for whatever reason. So I think it is beyond admirable that you decided to create a safe space for these young boys to come and say, hey, I need to be able to talk. Hey, I need these resources. I think it is awesome. So is the Lions Den a program where any kid from any school, is it just for the 48205 zip code? What is it?
Right now it's for that school, but if other schools would like our program to come in, we will come in there and run the same program, bringing once a week or twice a week, whatever we develop with the principal, bringing the program in, bringing the resources, partnering with the school, partnering with the relationships that we already have, bringing those men to come in and to speak weekly throughout the school year.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for us, Bruce?
No, but I admire what you're doing. It's very much so needed, and I have no problem coming in, assisting, whatever you want me to do. Talk to some kids, show them how to tie a tie, talk to them about finance, whatever it is.
Thank you.
I have no problem doing it. I'll give you my information before you go.
Great. Maybe we could get some of those houses for it that our kids.
Because she does the family tree, so she helps. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some students that walk past houses that we be, worried about.
So, as an ombudsman, one of the things that I'm passionate about is making sure we give priority to properties located near churches and schools.
Okay, great.
Those should take priority. We used to prioritize them that way, and I've been pushing that line for quite some time because the last thing you want is for a child to walk past that or be abducted. We've all turned on the news and heard horror stories where a child was assaulted and pulled into a vacant open trespass structure. So if you have those locations, I'd love to take that information back and get it secured.
Yeah. See, that's what Detroit Black and White is all about. It's really us making connections to other people, putting people together, putting the community together. I mean, Detroit is the largest city in the state of Michigan, but it's like a tree with all these different branches. So, I think this is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Having me.
You're welcome to come on anytime. We talk about your other programs and family tree. We thank you for Lions Den. I think it is awesome. And if you, of course, you've had me, I forgot that I do so much. I forgot that I was the speaker for her. But, I don't know if they're receptive to women coming in and speaking to them. I think the impact would be really different when a man comes to speak to them.
Yes, the impact, it changes their whole persona. It gives them, self-confidence and kind of raise their awareness to hear that male perspective in us women.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We're going to take a break.
This is Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. I want to share a story about who, more than anyone, taught me the importance of listening and accountability. It was President Barack Obama. I served in the White House on his national security staff. I got to see him in action, up close, and behind closed doors in the Oval Office. First, he was brilliant, and therefore demanded people really knew their stuff. It was President Obama who grilled me on issues and demanded accountability on what we said and did. That commitment to accountability is exactly the approach I use today, listening to our communities. It's why I've written an opportunity agenda with detailed plans to strengthen Black businesses, increase Black wealth, and provide real opportunities for our youth. Because, as President Obama taught me, you better say what you mean and mean what you say. So that's why I approve this message.
Vote early or on August 6th for Alyssa Slotkin, Democrat for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Alyssa Slotkin.
Because I live in Detroit, I was able to get tuition-free college through the Detroit Promise. I feel very fortunate working with the Detroit Promise. They were able to afford me so many opportunities. I'm currently studying media production and journalism at University of Michigan Dearborn. I'm looking to take my talents further into the production industry, short films. I love working with people here, and this is where I want to be. And that's why I'm Detroit for life.
Without Project Clean Slate, there is no telling where I would be right now.
It gave him back his life, because once he got the felony, it seemed like life was over.
Being unemployed, being depressed, being a burden. Project Clean Slate helped wipe those things away. I can't say thank you enough. I am now able to work for a reputable airline. Detroit had my back, all because I live in Detroit.
Oh,
I was like, that
well,
is
we're back.
ridiculous.
We're back to Detroit in black and white. And
Right.
Vanessa Moss, how you doing, Vanessa?
I'm fine. We also
got-
have
We got Bruce, Bart Simpson.
he's Bart Simpson's
Hey, listen,
cousin too.
they
He
full of jokes.
OJ
They
and
full of jokes today.
they're all
But
related.
you know
I
what?
could take it though.
But you know what? Sometimes we do need a laugh.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I said here, I really didn't want to come in here today.
Yeah.
You know, lost he like a brother. He was my first cousin. He was a only child, but siblings here, they were brothers and sisters.
Right.
You know, Terrell Jr.
Heck of a guy.
Terrell Mongo, he was a funny guy. I went to see him in Florida last month and stuff, and man, he was hanging in there.
Right. As
And
a matter of fact, he called you to ask you to come and write his obituary.
Right.
Right. So
And
yeah,
and I couldn't write it.
you didn't.
No, I didn't, because you know what? When you write obituaries, you know that's final. They're saying that it's gone. But listen, when I saw him and he looked good, he was walking, and I said, you ain't gonna, man, we'll get to it. You know, it's in my head. You know, I can type it out tonight, but you know, I was hoping. He's
Right.
moving back to Cleveland. He had been in Florida for 25 years or more. Food service business. He used to be the head of food service at the Port St. Lucie jail in Florida. And he loved to eat. He took care of his mother when she had Alzheimer's, moved her from Cleveland, and he went home. He went home the other day, and he passed away. That was it. Body shut down. And you know, even when you know people are going to leave here, and you saying, damn, they want the pain to go away, don't want to see them suffer, but it's hard to accept. I talked to him the other day,
Mhm.
and he said, man, he tired.
He said he was tired.
He was tired.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
even if it's expected, even if you have an opportunity to prepare for it mentally and spiritually, it still hits hard.
It does, and I don't even
There's no
know if you
way
could
around.
really prepare for it.
But he
You know?
prepared.
Try.
He
Right.
prepared for it because he took care. And he wanted to be buried next to his parents.
Mhm.
He bought the headstone. He was doing everything. He knew what he wanted to do, and you know he fought to the end. And that's all you can ask somebody to do.
Sorry for your loss again, Adolph. I would be remiss without mentioning Sheila Jackson Lee,
Yeah.
who has transitioned. You know, she was a very important, not just political figure, but if you're a Black woman, right? What is Sheila
And
Jackson Lee?
she had she had to fill the position that Barbara Jordan had,
Right.
and that's some big shoes.
Right.
You know what?
And she did it.
And she did.
She did
With
that
her little
thing.
self.
Yeah, she
She
did.
came out,
Yeah.
and Barbara Jordan was just the opposite
Right.
with that deep voice and that presence.
Yeah.
And here comes Sheila Jackson Lee. I'm like, damn,
Right.
And then when you see what's a movie that Regina King just produced?
I don't know. Was it on Netflix or Prime?
Yeah,
I don't know what movie you're talking about. Oh,
Shirley.
yeah, Shirley. Right.
They
I
portrayed
didn't see the
Sheila
movie, but
Jackson Lee in there. When
yeah,
she was
I
a
didn't see the
member.
movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
they
movie
said it
was
was
great.
excellent.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I
And
was
Sheila
late to the
Jackson Lee
party.
was a college student
Okay.
that came aboard with Shirley Chisholm. So
Okay.
she learned her stuff big time. So anyway,
All right.
thanks for letting me vent on that.
Oh yeah, no.
We're doing this a little backwards today. The outrage. I'm gonna go to Brucey.
My outrage is that the Democratic Party hasn't made its mind up as to what it wants to do, and even if they haven't been able to convince the head of the ticket, and we still don't even know what that looks like. Even if they convince him, will the party accept his number 2? Right? That would allow them to still take on all that money. That would allow them to seamlessly transition. But do they want that, or do they want to open it up and have competition, a competitive process?
So Bruce, I think that I don't think they want Kamala. I don't know if you get the text messages, but I get the text messages asking me, if Kamala was at the top of the ticket, would you support? They text seem like every 5 minutes, but if the decision is his, if he decides that he's not going to do it, what are you going to do? You said last week, listen, whoever the Democratic nominee is, that is who I'm going to support. So at the end of the day, that's what's going to be. But let me finish. But to your point, Bruce, we don't know who that person would be. And that's the frustrating part of it, because they're not saying that it would be Kamala. They're not saying that. So who would it be?
You know what?
They're saying
Bruce,
open it up.
I should have went first because Bruce took my
Go ahead
thunder,
and get yours.
because that's my outrage that at this late in the game that man, like go to the dance, okay? I'll take you to the dance, and now I find out you can't even dance now. You have lost your step. You used to be the best dancer. What do I do? Leave you?
Gonna say something
Do I
else.
leave you? But do I leave you? And do I start going dancing with somebody else? You know what? Listen, if Biden has to, they got to get him in a room. It has to be folks that really scare him to death. That's Obama, the Congressional Black Caucus. James Clyburn and them can squash all this, but they standing tall with it. So we got a civil war in the Democratic Party that we're gonna lose 2 or 3 Senate seats. We're gonna lose Congress. It's gonna be a slam
Well, let me
dunk all
ask
the
you
way
this
around.
though. When he ran almost 4 years ago, it wasn't until Clyburn said something. You had some of the same criticisms. He took I mean, this is nothing new. This is like a repeat, okay?
Yeah, but he had lost. We can see the decline. 4 years takes its toll on anybody. You look at Obama and all the other presidents that came that left office and stuff. They age. And
Obama's still fine. I don't know what
I'm gonna say it's a reoccurring theme throughout government and politics in general. Whether you're talking about Senator Feinstein, who they propped up until she transitioned, literally propped up. Her staff ran that office. Whether you're talking about the Supreme Court,
this close to you, Bruce, because your grandmother was an icon here. Served on the council 2 separate times. Was on the school board, a state rep, and a Congress woman. I served with distinction. How at the end, when she decided I'm not running again.
Oh,
What, how did she come up with
You
that?
asking that question because you were there.
Yeah, but how did we,
No, listen.
But how did we put it down?
Listen,
How did we lay it out to your
I looked at her. I looked at what she stood for, and I understood what that meant in terms of the stress, the toll that it would take on her. And at that age, did she have all of her cognitive ability and was she as sharp? Absolutely. Wasn't worried about that at all. But the toll that it takes on you carrying that load for people, if you're truly representing them, it's going to take a toll.
Because when I told her to go out your way, you know what she told me? She said, you know what? I don't talk with my grandkids, son, and stuff, and everybody saying the same way. Go out I told her, say, you do it your way,
on your terms,
and you know, and she did it. I think that's the best thing that she could have done because it was a frenzy on the city council. They wanted all of them.
I think everybody can relate to this. Just real quick, you have a parent, you see them work all their lives. You don't want them to die in the factory or die wherever it is they're working. Enjoy your life. Have some time to enjoy your life.
So go ahead.
You guys did your outrage. You had the same one. I'm outraged that Joy Reid decides that she's going to attack the speaker, Amber Rose, at the RNC. Why are you wasting your time on her? Why are you mad because this woman chose that party? She has the right to choose whatever party she wants to affiliate with. And why are you mad at her? Why are you mad at her? Why are you criticizing her, saying, well, she has black sons? She didn't have a problem. She didn't have a problem. Well, to me, Joy Reid elevated her. As far as I'm concerned. Well, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't have a problem with, getting, her swag basically from the black community, and now she's changing her position. No. Pissed that you even spent your time talking about her.
They don't have nothing else. They don't have
so
nothing.
pissed that you did that.
That's why I don't even watch all that because all these channels are the same.
Oh,
the same.
absolutely.
I can't stand it.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. Listen, Kid Rock got a black kid.
Right.
Okay. Slave masters had black folks, had black kids. That's why we all different colors. So this is America, it's a melting pot. People can do what they want to do. I have a right to say, fuck you, Amber Rose. I have a right to say that. But, all that comes with consequences.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what? So she got to deal with it.
Absolutely.
But when you put the spotlight on her, you just elevate her in the eyes of others.
Absolutely.
So, Joy Reid, the thumbs down
Absolutely.
on you. And want to say thanks, David Tinsley, here at the David Whitney Hotel, the Vision of Marriott, a fireplace, nice setting. Bruce Simpson, thanks, Bruce, for coming in on this Saturday. Vanessa, come ahead.
Yes, if you're watching the show, like, subscribe, and share. For those people who come into the Real Men Vote candidate forum today over at Wayne County Community College District on the east side, come on. I will be there. I will be speaking as well as a whole lot of other candidates. Again, if you're watching, like, subscribe, and share. Come on down. Karen, we're looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Teresa. And thank you, Patricia, for coming.
And Carl Marlinga.
And Carl Marlinga.
Well, thank you. Hopefully we'll be back here next week.
You gonna bring your cousins with you next week?
My cousins, who would that be?
That would be,
that's over with. Take care.
I have a fundraiser on Wednesday. It's a skate party.
Okay.
Skate rink.
Well, I ain't
family
put
fun.
on skates in so long.
You probably don't put on skates on.
I'll place it at.
What's that injury?
No, so let me be clear. I could go out and play basketball like competitively and be okay with this leg. The one that didn't have surgery is the one I'm worried about.
Wow.
Who started that movie? Black Dads Can't Jump.
Oh man, shut up, Adolph.
Did you block your shot? Man?
No, that's not what happened, man. You know what sucks? I was playing real good too. I went up, made a layup, came down, and when I came down, the impact. You know, when you are a weekend warrior and you get off the couch and say I'm gonna do it off the couch. No, I didn't try to ease my way into it. I went hard.
I see people get hurt. Listen, I tried to play softball in my 20s. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Because we're competitive.
Yeah.
And we remember how it used to be.
Yeah, like your body say.
It ain't that way no more.
You know what told me I was getting older when they asked the health plan.
You know what? You wanted to help.
I got that family reunion call. Help us plan the family. You said, what?
Yeah, you wanted to help.
I said, wait a minute. I ain't never asked me to help plan no
Hey,
family
where you
reunion.
park? On the side? I did too. I parked in there too. So how was it today?
Really good. Good show.
Okay. It wasn't spicy as usual.
I like it. It's a little different.
Yeah, the setting is,
Yeah, right.
you know.
Setting demands a little more reserved.
Yes.
How much time?
Yeah, that.
Oh, yes.
It's the fact that
Guys had him. They were all friends. They got rid of him.